Okay, here's a video of my old G1900 Kubota diesel. I got this recently, obviously pretty used, with 637.5 hours on it. It runs really well, as is expected from a Kubota diesel. It's had a few problems that I've fixed. The steering wheel when I got it, and I got it for a deal, but the steering wheel when I got it was really loose, and I could see that several spot welds inside, here, and then on the other side opposite this one, were broken, and it had a big dent in the front bumper there that I beat out, where somebody had obviously hit the corner of something really hard and hit this steering wheel so hard that they broke it all loose. And you can see they broke that and that. Anyways, I went back and re-welded the spot welds and kind of reinforced them on the outside, because it actually tore the metal on the outside there. And now it's pretty solid again. It's really a heavy, I mean, they must have really hit it with a lot of force. But anyways, it's a pretty heavy duty lawnmower. The deck has this nice big bumper around most of the edge. And it might be, I'd say it's not too awful thick. I'd say it's maybe 10 gauge, but it's a stamp deck, but it is very heavy duty. It's got a lot of reinforcements across it in front. This is the four-wheel steering model. The rear end is cast aluminum with these cast iron pieces where the steering linkages and stuff go. Pretty nice stuff. One thing I thought was kind of odd about this is the frame. It's just like a C-channel frame. It might be 10 gauge, maybe 11 gauge steel, stamped in a C, about 5 inches wide the whole way. It's got several reinforcements. It doesn't seem as heavy as their newer stuff, which is much thicker grade steel, but oddly enough, the newer stuff has got a much shallower profile. So instead of being 5 inches like this is, or 4.5 maybe, the new stuff, especially when it gets over the mower deck, is actually closer to probably 3 inches and has a bunch of holes through it. This one, of course, is made in Japan, as all good things in the world are. Made in Japan, diesel engine, and even the mower deck, made in Japan. Pretty cool. This was for a grass catcher attachment, the lower attachment. You can kind of see the frame. It's got several weldments up underneath that support the underside of the chassis, that support the body. It's got it is not a cast iron front axle. That's just a very heavy welded stamped piece, but it is pretty substantial. Of course, all the little bits and pieces made in Japan, Denso, Japanese stuff. The hood is, of course, all steel, little welds holding it all together. It's very time intensive to do all this stuff, you know, all these little spot welds. It's just the amount of time it takes to make this as opposed to the new ones that are all injection molded. You know, this was of a different era. One thing that kind of concerned me for a while on this, I think it's on this side. Yes, is that underneath here on the frame, it's got this big slot cut out through the frame for this linkage, for the rear steering linkage. And it's a pretty sizable slot cut out of the frame, as you can see. But it has this welded plate reinforcement, doubling it all the way down, at least to right there. That's the cylinder for the mower there, to lift the mower up and down. Of course, you see the nice replaceable transmission filter right there. Got all the plugs and stuff to drain your transmission fluid and replace it easily enough. Not many cheap tractors do that any longer. It's got your relatively quick disconnect coupling for the front PTO. I go to this nice cast iron gearbox for the mower deck. You've got Zerk fittings on everything. There's about a dozen of them or more, and some of them are kind of tricky to get to. You have to roll or at least drive the tractor to line up the light, to line up the Zerk fittings with those holes, so you can grease inside there and grease your universal joint up there. You've got a fill cap there and a drain plug somewhere. Oh, here we go. Right there. Right there. Beefy, real beefy hitch. You know, I don't know about the four-wheel steering models, but I think I've seen the two-wheel, the regular steering, the two-wheel steering models that can take an attachment for like a small 3-point hitch. This one I don't think you can do it on, because I would imagine that the rear steering wheels would, you know, interfere with the 3-point hitch. But it does have up inside there some kind of a PTO shaft that when I had the thing running, I noticed that was turning. So obviously that does something, I don't know. And then there's a cutout here. So it's like you can put a PTO shaft, but with the four-wheel steering, I don't know what you can attach to it. But it's all very heavy duty. Oddly enough, with all the Zerk fittings on everything, there aren't any Zerk fittings on that linkage for the rear steering, which I thought was kind of strange. Or the front steering, for that matter. You know, you'd think there'd be one up top, but nothing. Nothing there, or the one in the back. Still a pretty stout lawnmower. Much more stout than many that you'll find. Let's see if I can get oh yeah, there's a plate welded up in the middle there, you see. Nice heavy duty kind of stuff. I have heard stories of these frames cracking over time. I saw an image on the internet of a guy's frame that cracked right up in here, and then they had welded some kind of plate in this area. I don't know, that might have just been misuse or something, where they butt this thing up too hard or something, I don't know. But it does have a little weldment underneath, kind of a reinforcement there that goes into this bracket. This is about 1/4-inch plate here. And you've got your front that's all welded together to your little hanger, your quick release hanger for the mower deck. The mower deck isn't that difficult to take loose. What's difficult is getting it out from underneath the tractor, because it is about if I had to guess, about 250 pounds of mower deck, and it doesn't want to clear a lot of the frame rails under there. So you have to jack up the tractor to get it out. But no big deal. You can run it up on blocks and get it out pretty easily. It's a good idea to take these wheels off, these rollers off when you do it. That way you get right down on the ground with it, but it is a really heavy deck to get off. Seat's in really good condition. It's original Kubota. Bird crap, that's in really good condition. That bird turret on that. That was an extra feature I had to pay for. One nice thing here is underneath. I see that. Oh, let me come around from the side and up underneath. Yeah, so you've got a support bracket that goes straight down over top of the frame where the rear axle is, and then straight underneath where the seat is. So you've got nice support straight over the rear axle. No weight on the frame in that to support my fat body. Pretty nice tractor overall. Runs really well, cuts really well. It glides actually on these two rear rollers. This is what it rests on. This is how you set your deck height. And these are just your anti-scalp rollers. They're supposed to spin freely when you're cutting. Overall, very nice, heavy lawn tractor, garden tractor. Thanks.